My name is Haya, and I'm the events lead at All in Tech. This is our fourth All in Tech Upskill webinar. And today, it's our honor to have Salan with us. We're going to be discussing how to go from your side hustle to make it your own main hustle. So first off, Salan, thank you for joining us today. Salan is a qualified holistic nutritionist and lifestyle coach focused on alkaline nutrition. Salan is the founder of a successful digital subscription-based wellness platform called Alkalytic, and her mission is to help busy women achieve sustainable weight loss quickly and get out of the dieting cycle forever. She has worked with over 1,000 women since 2015 and has helped thousands more who have subscribed to her online sustainable weight loss platform. In the next hour, we'll be discussing how Salan was able to turn her passion into her full-time career and successfully launch a digital platform, her key insights, lessons learned, and tips from her experience. Salan, would you like to begin, give a brief introduction about your background, your education, and your career path so far?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Although you already gave such a good background information. So yeah, as you mentioned, I'm a holistic nutrition and lifestyle coach, and I live in London. I have a background in computer and electronical engineering. I'm a member to UK Health Coaches Association. My niche is, as you said, busy women and also busy professionals, and my specialty is sustainable weight loss without dieting, so more like forming new habits around nutrition and lifestyle habits with the goal of weight loss. And yeah, I have a coaching business, and I also have a subscription-based wellness platform. Currently 3,000 women are subscribed to my subscription platform, so I have 3,000 monthly paying subscribers in my platform. And yeah, just to talk a little bit briefly about my background, before I founded my online platform and my nutrition coaching business, I used to work at a large bank in Turkey in digital banking. And nutrition coaching was my side job. It started like it was my hobby at first. It was a passion of mine, and I started coaching business as a side job, and then it became my main hustle. And before the bank, I also, like right after graduating after college, I also co-founded a digital content platform that sold ebooks, digital movies, and digital music. So yeah, I had another startup, and then I exited. I sold my shares, I exited, and then I started working in the bank. So yeah, that's a quick, brief introduction about my background.
Great. Okay. Yeah, I definitely have a lot of startup experience then before going into your current business. And in terms of your transition from university to starting your own, like to co-founding your platform and then to moving to banking, what was your background in university and how did you leverage these skills to help you make that transition?
Yeah, so I studied computer and electronical engineering. That's the major. So it's more like software engineering, and also there are like hardware aspects in it too. So I studied that, and I did a minor in business administration. So I also took some business and marketing classes during college as well. And it was at my last year in university, I met with the founders of the biggest ebook reader device company in Turkey. And they were thinking of launching a digital content platform for their reader that sold ebooks. And yeah, we were talking, and I just like felt so excited about the idea. It was back in 2013. And yeah, so we co-founded that platform together with them. So my co-founder was a company. It was an ebook reader company. And yeah, it was for a year and a half, I was responsible for a wide range of, I had a wide range of responsibilities when I was working for the platform. It was collaborating and partnering with publishing firms and movie companies and music companies and getting their content into our platform. I was also responsible for the technical side of things, the creating a digital DRM for protecting the rights of those contents. And I was also responsible for sales and marketing, even the design, look and feel of the platform. So that was such a good experience for me, because it felt like I was getting an MBA right after college, doing like trying to do many different things at the same time. So yeah, I worked for that was called Reader Shop. I worked for Reader Shop for a year and a half, and then I sold my shares and exited, and then I decided to start working in a bank, because when I was working for Reader Shop, as I had mentioned, I had a wide range of responsibilities, and I was also I also got into digital marketing to be able to generate more sales, to be able to increase the customers that we acquired, and what I really like, digital marketing and what you can do with digital marketing just blow my mind. It was like, with such small budgets, you can really target such specific audiences, and it was really data oriented, so you could track everything. It's really like, I thought right after my startup experience, I thought I would like to learn more about digital marketing, get more experience, like deep dive into that. And to be able to do that, like I was thinking, which industry, which sector would be the best to learn more about digital marketing? And I thought finance or telecom companies or really big e-commerce companies would be the best, because they have a wide range of like all segments, and a wide range of products or services specifically for each segment. So micro targeting is very important in those companies. And they are also very data-driven companies. So I think digital marketing is really important. So yeah, I decided to take an opportunity with a large bank in Turkey, and I started working in their digital banking team. And yeah, I learned a lot about digital marketing there. And then I started, when I was working in the bank, I got into nutrition. That's a whole another story how I got into it. I was like, basically, I was always back in college, I was always a slightly overweight girl, and I would always try to lose weight. And I would always be on a diet, like all my life, all my student years and the first couple of years in the corporate life, I would always be on a diet, and I would always lose the weight only to gain it all back. And I would just lose like 3-4 kilos, which is like with pounds, I think 6 to 8 pounds. I would lose it and then I would gain it back. I would lose it, I would gain it back. And I would try all the crash diets that are available on the internet, and I just like ended up harming my health. And I really started having serious digestive issues when I was 24 years old, up until the point that I had to get a colonoscopy and gastroscopy at the age of 24. And yeah, from that bad experience, what happened, the gastroenterologist, he introduced me to the concept of alkaline nutrition. And then I just started researching about it, reading about it. I really got into it. I started applying it to myself. I'm also from the Mediterranean part of Turkey, so I combined it with some Mediterranean nutrition and lifestyle elements as well. And yeah, I lost like 14 kilos in 2 months. I wasn't even trying to lose weight at that point. I was just trying to heal myself. But yeah, I become so passionate about what I can do if I change my perspective into habit change, into like lifestyle change, instead of just trying to find quick crash diet solutions. If I just change all my perspective, like it was so easy to get results after that. So yeah, I started getting education around alkaline diet and holistic nutrition as I was working in the bank. And then, yeah, I become a qualified holistic nutrition coach. And I just opened an Instagram account. I was still working in the bank. I was just sharing my knowledge, my tips and tricks. And I started having clients as a side job. And I did that for 2 years. I was working in the bank full time. And I was coaching my clients as a side job. So I was like, I had a 9 to 5 job. And after 5 p.m., I would go home and coach my clients. Yeah, for 2 years, I did that until I decided to do it full time.
Wow, that's an
A
extremely
long,
interesting
long
experience.
introduction.
No, that's great. That's really interesting. It's really good to see where you came from. How about you came to decide to establishing your own platform? I guess one of the main questions would be, how did you balance it, and how was the transition while being at the bank? And then the trigger point where you decided, okay, I really need to now focus on what is my passion and turn it into a career. How did that come about? What were your challenges? Did you have a mentor? Did you also, like your manager at the bank, did they know, or did you just kind of in the beginning keep it on the down low? Like, how about did you go with this transition?
Yeah, in the beginning, in the bank, I had to keep it. I didn't want to tell about it. I didn't want to talk about it. So it wasn't known. But after some point, I think in less than a year, my client base grew so much. Like I was just like coaching a couple of clients as a kind of like a hobby because I was really enjoying it. But they were getting such good results. So they were just referencing me to other people. So I started, like, my client base started growing with word of mouth. And at one point, even people working in the bank were asking my advice, and I started even like charging them. And
Okay, so is that when did you start charging the clients once you grew your client base? It was free in the beginning, and then once you
yeah,
gained momentum.
I
Okay.
actually didn't do it for free at all. I did it for such a low price in the beginning for a couple of
Okay.
clients. And then as the demand increased, I started increasing the price. And yeah, at one point, everybody in the bank knew it. But yeah, I wasn't like, first of all, it wasn't like a conflict of interest. So it was a totally different job that I was doing. And I was doing it other than working hours. So after some point, I didn't care much that people knew it, I think. I'm sure some people got really annoyed with it because it's just like, I don't know, it's banks are like, especially in Turkey, it's more like, I think people don't want you to have a side job. At least back then it was like that when I was working there. But yeah, also, how did I make the transition to turn it into a full-time job? Is it was such a difficult decision for me because obviously working in a big corporation has its own benefits. Like, you know that you will have a regular salary and you know what you will be earning every month. It's such a it's safe, it's comfortable, and it's like taking a risk of like quitting your job and like being an entrepreneur and not having a regular salary. Like, obviously a lot of fears comes to mind. But I was, so at some point my client base grew so much, and my income that I was earning from my side job was even higher than my actual full-time job.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
at one point, after 2 years, it was like that. So I was like working 8 hours in a bank, and I was like coaching people 2 to 3 hours a day. And from coaching, I was earning more income than my actual banking job. At that point, I had to make a choice because more clients were demanding my services, but I wasn't able to. I wasn't able to provide them coaching because I had a full-time job. So I had to make a choice: either not accept any more clients and continue working in the bank, or just quit the bank and grow my coaching business. And yeah, it was, I didn't have a mentor, but I had a therapist back then who
Okay.
really, like, she really helped me tap into my feelings, what I actually want. And because I also really liked what I was doing. I also really liked digital marketing as well. But yeah, at that point, I think the main thing that I thought was, what's the worst thing that's going to happen if I quit my job and if I do it full time? Like, what could be the worst thing that can happen. The worst possible scenario would be like my coaching business fails and I go back to corporate life again. So that was the worst case scenario. And I thought it's worth taking the risk. So that's how I decided after 2 years, and yeah, quit the bank, found my own full-time coaching business, and then moved to London, I got additional qualification here, and then become a UK Health Coach Association. And yeah, after that point, after I moved to London, I just changed, like I transformed from one-to-one to one-to-many. I started doing group coaching programs. And then, yeah, I kind of like scaled a little bit more. I scaled my business a little bit more by shifting from one-to-one to one-to-many. But it was still like, when you're still group coaching, it's still not scalable enough, but I wanted to scale more because I wanted to reach more people. I wanted to impact more lives, transform more people's lives. And at that point, I decided that maybe I should found my own online platform. Because even when you're doing group coaching, like let's say when you're doing one-to-one coaching, what's the most clients you can have in amount? Maybe 20. When you're doing group coaching, maybe 100 if you work hard, but you can never coach 1,000 people. So that's the time, that's the reason why I decided to launch the platform, to be able to reach more people, because I really liked what I was doing, and I could see it was helping others as well. And yeah, so that's all the transitions of mine.
I know, that's amazing, and it's clear you're super passionate about what you're doing. But yeah, it comes across. So, and that's amazing that you want to help as many people as possible. Yeah, that definitely is super clear. So another question is, what 3 tips would you have for someone starting off now? If they're in a corporate job, have a passion, like what 3 tips would you say, looking back at your experience?
Yeah, I
Just
think.
to guide them.
Yeah, I think like for the ones who are thinking of like having a side job or moving to become an entrepreneur, or both.
Yes, from like what your thought process was when you started your passion, developing it into a side hustle, and then just once you decided to move it into main hustle, your challenges, any 3 things you wish you would have done, or wish you'd have known back then.
Yeah, I think the first thing that I think it's important, that I think I did good about that, and I think that could be a good advice. I think instead of just quitting your job and just starting from the beginning, I would suggest kind of like what I did, starting as a side job, coming to some points. You don't need to wait until you have a higher income than your actual job. That was probably it's difficult for it to happen, but I think it's at least like starting a little bit. And then like I think you learn on the way. When you're doing both jobs, you can start to understand like which one you like more, which one you feel more passionate about. And I think it's also good to still continue having a fixed income while you're experimenting new things on the side. And once you feel confident and once you feel ready, and then taking the leap to just like making the side hustle a full-time hustle makes more sense, in my opinion. That's what worked for me. But some people work better under pressure, and some people, it depends on your character. Some people has to quit that full-time job and has to have no income so that they really work so hard, and like, so it depends on the character. But for my character, that worked better for me, to keep having a fixed income while experimenting new things. But the other thing that I would really tell people to do is like, I think when we decide to just start a new venture, a lot of people, including me, we kind of like overthink it, and we overcomplicate things. Like we just like procrastinate a lot. We want our product or service to be the best product or service, so we just keep waiting and keep being, maybe like it overwhelms us. So I think the best suggestion would be, there's this like quote, it's so like we all hear it, done is better than perfect, which is so true.
Yeah,
You just need
I agree.
you just need to start and refine it on the way. Like you don't have to start with a perfect product or a perfect service. It's just, I think what makes more sense is just starting and then like learning and refining it on the way. Because when I first launched my online platform, I think it just had a meal plan in it, and that's all, nothing else. But and some clients started joining, and I started getting their input. They started experimenting, and they started giving me feedbacks. And I like that way we kept developing the platform into its actual final version. And I don't want to say final because it's going to keep changing. So it's not a tattoo that you put and then you can never delete it. Like I think it's, yeah, my biggest suggestion would be just do it. Just start doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Thank you for these valuable tips. I agree. I think a lot of us are just scared to start, especially that, okay, it's not perfect. We're still getting used to this product or service. But we forget that learning is really important. Like learning by experience is
Yeah.
more valuable than just writing in theory or trying to figure out how to do it, what's the best approach.
Yeah.
Definitely learning on the job, I think, is the way to go. So thank you for this. That's great. And in terms of your digital marketing knowledge, just how did you go about building the platform, growing your subscription base? Any tips? Because you're also in performance marketing as well.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you're able to leverage these skills. For someone who's getting into the digital world right now, how would you say they start? Like, did you start on Instagram? Did you have a blog?
Yeah.
How would you advise, like, based on that?
Yeah, I think growing digitally is so you can grow digitally by three ways. The first one is what everybody starts doing, which is organically. So what you can do is like you can actually generate really good content that people wants to share, wants to like, wants to comment, wants to follow you. And yeah, I use Instagram. I use Instagram to start with because for health and wellness, Instagram is a good platform. So it would depend what's your product or service and what's your target audience is. But for a lot of audiences or for a lot of services and products, Instagram and Facebook are, I think they're good platforms. But obviously, if your product is a B2B product, then maybe LinkedIn would be a better platform. So it depends on what you do. But yeah, so there are three ways to grow digitally. So first is organic. So you can grow organically. It requires a lot of work and it is a slow and steady growth. You can grow via paid ads, which is performance marketing, digital marketing. And then you can also grow via collaborations and partnerships. And that's a really good way to grow as well. So for example, when an influencer who has a big audience shares about you, tags you, then it's a good way to grow as well, because it doesn't require a budget, not necessarily. It just requires good networking and collaborations. And it just, it comes with us, it's a social proof to your audience. So because that influencer already has an audience and they already built some trust in their audience. And when they share about your product or your service, it's I think it's one of the easiest ways to grow is like making good collaborations and partnerships. And the other one is digital marketing, because so what I notice is like a lot of people, they think they should just start with organic and maybe collaborations, and they just think digital marketing comes later, which I don't agree, because I think you need to think digital marketing right away, because it's such amazing. Like you can do a lot of things with such small budgets. Some people think you need to allocate a big budget for paid ads, but you don't need to. It depends if you, I think it's good to just start experimenting and yeah, I hear it from a lot of people and they think it's really complicated as well. They kind of like, a lot of people get scared going into digital marketing channels and like giving ads, but it is, it might feel like it's complicated in the beginning. But yeah, I had a digital marketing experience from the bank. But before the bank, when I was working for Reader Shop, I learned everything myself just from the beginning. And I didn't take a course, or I didn't work with a digital marketing professional, or I didn't have a mentor. What I actually did was like, I just opened my accounts, Google Analytics accounts, Facebook Analytics accounts. And then they already, like, once you start exploring them, they already have enough material in the platforms. They have like tutorials, articles, videos. You can ask their questions and to the support team, and they get back to you. They even like, once you open an account, all of those platforms assign an account manager to you, which you can do bi-weekly or monthly short calls to help to ask your questions and to get some help. So I think like, again, learning on the way is the key about digital marketing as well. You can just start with like really small budgets, like, and also a lot of people get scared because they think once they put their credit card on those platforms, like it's going to take all their money. But no, like you can actually put a spend limit, a maximum spend limit. You can say a daily spend limit is £10, and you will never spend more than £10 a day. They will never take more than £10. And what's also like great about digital marketing is you can really target such niche, like specific micro segments because yeah, if for example, you can target the people who have been to your website but didn't buy your product. You can target them, and you can like retarget them, and you can do a remarketing campaign and say, if they have been to my website, and if they stayed in the website for more than 5 minutes and didn't buy my product, I'm going to give them a specific discount, and only they will see your discount on your ads. Or like, yeah, it's like, it's so specific. Or what you can do is like, for example, people who purchased your products or services, you can do a similar targeted. So you can do like a lookalike audience. What you can do is like, you can say to those platforms, those are the people who purchased my products. I want a similar audience. And all those platforms kind of like, they know your behaviors online, like what kind of pages you're following, what kind of websites you're visiting, and they're going to know your profile, and then they're going to target similar profiles for your ads. And yeah, to be able to do that, you just need to put little code snippets into your website or app, like which platform you're using, and when you open your account on platforms like Google and Facebook, it's going to give you like little code snippets where you can just put into you don't need any software engineering or coding knowledge to do that. It's just a copy paste. And once you do that, like it's Google Analytics code or Facebook pixels, when you integrate it into your websites, then you can track what your audiences are doing, and you can target accordingly, which I think it's just brilliant, because you can literally target very like, just like pinpoint very like micro segments, and with such small budgets, and reach those people. And yeah, it's just like track what they're doing. You can retarget them. You can even but via digital marketing, you can even do this. Like, let's say you have a product which is, let's say, £100, and let's say the profit you are making from that product, the net profit is £50, let's say. And what you can do is that you can tell those platforms that your highest cost per acquisition should be £50, so you don't end up losing any money. And the algorithm optimizes it, the machine learning optimizes it accordingly. So you don't require a customer for £70 and end up losing £20. Like after the learning curve of the algorithm, you can even like set a cost per acquisition limit, and it's not gonna bring you new customers higher than that cost per acquisition. So yeah, I think that's wherever you're starting, whichever kind of product or service you're having, whichever segment you're targeting, how much is your budget? That those questions doesn't matter. I think you should start, you should think digital marketing right away because it's so helpful.
Right. Oh, thank you for these tips. Yeah, I've always been personally intimidated from digital marketing. I thought you need tens of thousands of dollars to boost your ad, or yeah, or sponsor any ads. Yeah, that's really interesting to know. Thank you for this.
Sure.
So based on the three different ways of growth, the organic, collaborations, and digital marketing, do you divide your attention like equally, or like do you try to focus more on the digital marketing side of it?
I think, yeah, I think I kind of, so that I would always have ads running, even if it's a small budget. And yeah, I would track them regularly. I would try to optimize that. And you don't need to do it all yourself. Once you, like, for example, we have a small team and that are helping me, and you can start doing yourself. But after that point, you can also hire professionals to do that for you as well. But yeah, I think I do all of them. So I think it's really, really important to keep providing good value content, because with digital marketing, so I don't think people on digital channels, they don't just see an ad and just buy. Just like making people take out their wallet is so difficult. They can see an ad and they can become aware of you. They can start following you. So you need to keep nurturing them with your emails, with your blog posts, with like really good content, and then they will buy from you. I don't think it happens, or maybe very rare. See an ad and just buy. Like it's so I think you need to just do all of those. So sometimes they would, and also collaborations. I try to collaborate. So I always like focus on generating good content to nurture the audience that I already have. To increase the audience, paid ads is a good way, and also to retarget them. Again, paid ad is a good way as well. So keep nurturing and retargeting them via paid ads. And collaborations, I think, are helpful to get to reach more audience. And from collaborations, I think it's a social proof. It's different. So like if somebody is following someone and they already trust what they are saying, when they share something, then I think they may just buy it. So it doesn't happen with paid ads, like where they see an ad and just buy it. It happens with us too. Like, for example, let's say I'm thinking of going to a nutritionist, and I don't search online like which nutritionist to go in London, or but a friend of mine tells me that I tried this nutritionist and she was amazing, she helped me to do that. Then I would reach out and I might go to that nutritionist ready to buy. So that's what happens with influencer marketing, I think, because people feel like the influencers that they are following, they trust them, and when they recommend something, it brings the social proof, so they just trust you right away, so they can just buy from you right away. So yeah, I try to do at least once a month collaborations, maybe like hosting live Q&As with other influencers, or maybe joining their podcasts or blog posts, so kind of like collaborations with them once a month. Every day content generation. So I would always like on my accounts keep posting valuable, good quality content that I think is important for my audience. And yeah, and I would have paid ads running continuously. Yeah, but not no crazy budgets, like literally it's just like £10 a day or something at most. Yeah, but always, because I think it makes sense to always have them running, because the algorithm and the machine learning then can understand your target audience and their behaviors and then optimize better.
Great. Well, thank you so much for these tips. Yeah, definitely the world is changing, and the focus on all these digital platforms has become like there's so much powerful. It's so powerful what you could do with these platforms.
Yeah.
We have a couple of minutes before the Q&A session. My final question would be, so you mentioned you have a team. When did the team grow? And is all of your digital marketing internal? Do you do content lineup, or do you just do it day by day?
Yeah, so when I first decided to launch the platform, that's where I started to have a team. So I have a colleague who is helping me with business development. And also with the technical stuff. And then we have a teammate. She is operations manager, so she's helping with content creation or customer relations, or more like day-to-day tasks, like admin stuff. And then we also have a part-time designer. And yeah, all are in-house. We don't outsource them. And content management is basically the team member who is the operations manager and we collaboratively design content. And yeah, we would just do it monthly. We would at least know what we will be posting for amount. But then if something comes up, then we will just create the post on real time. Like, let's say, something comes to my mind that we have to post this, or like we are doing a masterclass, let's just start promoting this masterclass, and then we would just put it. But like, we will always have a content. We would just put everything on the content planner for a month, and just schedule it and post it. And I think it's another question that you asked about my recommendations to entrepreneurs or whoever thinking of like moving into a side hustle, changing their side hustle to make it. I think my biggest recommendation would also be like, don't try to reinvent the wheel again, because there are like wide range of platforms that you can utilize, and also I think, again, it's so easy to get overwhelmed with a lot of different tasks. So I think it's always good to put them on a vision board. Like I use Trello boards, for example. I love to-do list, but I also like to have them on my board, which I can like assign tasks to my team members and like put deadlines on each tasks. And I think it's a Kanban style project management. Like, it doesn't have to be Trello, but like whatever. There's a lot of like options as well. But I think just being organized about what you want to do and putting deadlines in your task. And I also think time blocking is also really good on calendar, thinking like what you need to be doing each day and how long it will take, and blocking it on your calendar is really helpful for not getting overwhelmed as well. And also another recommendation just came to my mind is just like, I think it's really important when you're an entrepreneur to know your strengths and to know your weaknesses, and just focus on your strengths and delegate your weaknesses. Because a lot of people would just focus on their weaknesses and think about how I'm going to do that. But you don't have to do everything. You just focus on the strengths you have and just try to delegate the weaknesses you have. I think it's the best way to just get going with the job that you want to do.
Yeah, that's very true. I think a lot might dwell on what our weaknesses are, but rather it's better just to focus on the strengths. That definitely, as a team, you'll produce way more than on your own.
Yeah.
Perfect. No, I've learned so much so far already. I've taken so much notes already. Thank you so much for this. Wondering if anyone has any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box. We have about 12 more minutes left. Just checking it here. So we have one question, and it's about your move from Turkey to the UK. So what are some of the differences you've noticed between your Turkish and UK audiences? Are there any particular strategies you've had to use to cater for the differences?
So with the audience, I didn't notice like much differences, but the main difference that I noticed with my audience about health and wellness is Turkish people like to talk about what they're doing. Like, I'm working with this coach, I'm subscribed to this platform. They like to share, they like to talk. When they have a positive experience, they like to talk about it. Also when they have a negative experience, they like to talk about it as well, but like they just like to talk about it. But what I noticed with the UK audience is they're more reserved. I think they don't just like, even if they are your client, they don't keep talking about, oh, she's my coach, I'm working with her, I am subscribed to her platform. So I think it might be, if you're providing really good value to your clients and they are talking about you, it might be easier in Turkey to grow organically. But in UK, at least from my experience, because people are more reserved, it's not that easy. They're not going to keep talking about you. So you need to just like consistently show up for your audience, put yourself out there, show your expertise, generate good content, provide good value. Yeah, so I would say for branding and reputation perspective, I think building a brand and building good reputation in Turkey was easier. Also, the one reason is because they like to share their positive experiences, and the other reason is because I'm Turkish, I already had a good network there and I already had like strong support system, so it was easier to grow. But here in the UK, when I moved, I had to do all of that from the beginning. So like create a network, so start networking with people, join to clubs and communities, go attend events, collaborate with people, build trust, gain authority. And I'm still on the way. I'm still not there yet, not what I accomplished in Turkey. I haven't accomplished it in London yet, so it's taking some time. But I think, yeah, the biggest differences is, yeah, that I can think of is that.
Oh, okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, definitely different cultures, so many different ways of, yeah, with strategies of reaching out to people. Also in terms of content, would you like kind of change your content when you're in Turkey and you're doing like you're targeting digital marketing in Turkey, whereas to the UK? Do you also try to expand? Are you trying to target Europe, or like what's your strategy moving forward, especially that you have a subscription based model where you don't have to be there in person?
Yeah, so the subscription platform is still in Turkish, and I will be we will be launching the English version next month. So it's because it's still in Turkish. The ads of it are in Turkish, but we are targeting Turkish people all over the world. So we are not only targeting people in Turkey, but my coaching business, I provide coaching in English as well. So for my coaching business, for my coaching services, I target English speaking audience, but doesn't necessarily, it's not only UK, so it can be also US or Europe as well. And the differences is, I think when I'm like Turkish audience, it's again my experience, they like to see more tips and tricks in the like quick tips and tricks in the post that they can like resonate with you, or but with my English post or like with the UK or US audience, I think they just like to see that you understand them, you understand their problems, what they're dealing with, their obstacles, and you know how to help them get out of it. But it's not necessarily, you don't necessarily give what they should do on your content. They just like to know that you know what you're talking about and you understand them and you know the solution, and then they're going to come to you. But I think it's just like such specific minor differences, but that's from my experience. So that's, I differentiate content just a little bit with the Turkish content and with the English content, with what I learned. So yeah, with like whomever thinking of launching into another country or another language, I think again the best thing would be just to start and learn it on the way, because you're going to keep learning. It's going to be different.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure entering was quite a challenge, but you're doing great. So thank you for the tips. In terms of, so would you have the same posts would you have Turkish posts and then English posts on your Instagram and Facebook, or did you separate into different accounts?
Yeah,
Like what did you find the best approach was?
I think the best approach would be separating into different accounts, but that's not what I do. But I think the best approach would be that. But I started with Turkish, so I already had a big Turkish following and audience, and I just like didn't want to open a new account in English when I came to UK. So I started shifting my content from Turkish to English, and I still post sometimes in Turkish, sometimes in English, which might be confusing to my audience, but it works for me, but I don't think it's the best strategy. So if I had more time, I would maybe like separate those two, because I think it's confusing to the audience. It might be confusing to the audience. But yeah, I think it's also like you need to find what works for you and what's better for you, because otherwise, like if I kept thinking about, oh, I need to start from the beginning, I need to open another account, grow a following again from the beginning, then I could be overwhelmed and like not do it. So instead of not doing it, I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to start posting in English in my Turkish account. And so again, it goes back to just start doing it and refine it on the way, suggestion. Yeah.
That's great advice. I think just do it. I think that's definitely something you learned from this. Another thing, once you moved to London and you entered the English market, how did you come to learn what the audience were responding to? Was that through analytics, through Instagram and Facebook? Was it feedback from people? Like, how were you able to just get that input from the market to know how to change your strategy, which posts to post, how you said like the solution for the English market, whether Turkey like the tips more. So how did you get that feedback?
Yeah, I think it's both listening to my audience. So I started working with UK-based clients, and then working with them, I got their inputs, I got their feedbacks, I learned more about their challenges, and being in the environment, I also learned what they are, what they need, what they're asking for. And also so after I moved to UK, obviously I started just following more brands and experts in this area as well, living in the UK or in the US, providing English content. So exploring what they're talking about, what their audience wants to hear, also gave me some insights. And yeah, obviously tracking the data of Google Analytics helps as well, because it tells you a lot, like from which post you had more traffic, which post has been saved more. And I also like to do what I really like to do, like especially for my organic content. I like to put a call to action in the end of the content. For example, let's say I'm writing an Instagram post, and when I write a caption, I would finish it with a call to action. It's like, if you want to learn more about it, DM me the word expert and let's have a chat. So I would understand from which content I had more DMs. So it's an organic way of tracking which content is helping more. So always like putting a clear call to action in the end of the caption or in the post, so that you can really understand which of your content resonates more with your audience.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's very useful to know. Yeah, definitely, because on the side, I tried to start my own Instagram page and just getting organic growth, trying to figure out what the audience wants to see. Took a few posts just to figure out exactly what the strategy is. So definitely, yeah, that's a very useful tip for the call to action. Thank you.
I'm still figuring it out though, but yeah, it's
I guess as you said, it's learning as you go. It's just figuring it out as you go.
Definitely.
That's great to hear. I think, okay, we have one or two more questions. One more would be, if the budget allows it, would you suggest having it in-house or to outsource your digital platform? Especially that you're heavily focused, like your services are heavily focused on the digital platform. From doing it in-house, do you think that's the way to go? Or I'm sure it depends also on the person, but from your experience, what would your tips be?
I think if you, I think instead of having it in-house when you're first starting, I think just working with someone, working with an expert, like if you don't want to do it yourself, or if you want to start working with an expert, I think, yeah, just outsourcing would be better than having in-house, because it would be more affordable. And because most of those agencies or experts, they just, to my knowledge, so I haven't outsourced it ever, but to my knowledge, how they work is like, they take some percentage of your digital marketing budget and to run and optimize your ads, to set up your ads, run and optimize them. So let's say you have £1,000 monthly digital marketing budget. Maybe they're going to take, I'm just like making up the numbers, but I think it should be something around that 20% maybe. So they're going to take £200 to set up, run, and keep optimizing your ads. And then they help you with all the technology behind it as well, integrating the platform to your website, as tracking them, setting up new campaigns. So I think if it feels so overwhelming and to someone, then it might make sense to start working with an expert, outsource them, and start with smaller budgets. And when you see that it's helping, then increase the budget. Or I think another suggestion of mine would be just start very small, start exploring it yourself, because I think when you're an entrepreneur, it's so valuable to kind of know everything just a little bit, to have an idea, and then you can start outsourcing. But at least knowing what you can do with those platforms and how you can leverage those platforms, like having that basic knowledge of what is possible, then makes it easier for you to manage the person that you're outsourcing or the person you're hiring. So I think, yeah, my suggestion would be just start very small yourself, start learn a little bit. And you can still work with a mentor or a coach to help you teach that, but then maybe outsourcing would make sense, I think.
Yeah, that's great advice. Yeah, especially I think once you know the details and then you outsource this to someone else, at least you're comfortable with what's going on, understand what's going on. That's great. Thank you. So we have 4 minutes. The final question would be, in terms of once you started with content creation, digital marketing, you mentioned Facebook and Instagram have a lot of resources to help you.
Yeah.
Were there any other resources that you use that you could remember that were extremely helpful? How did you start with deciding what content to post? Did you look at other Instagrams, or did you just decide, okay, this is what I want to do, and just decided to post your own captions? Like how did you go about starting with the content?
Yeah, I think because my brand is more like a personal brand, I decided that I'm just going to be myself, because it's like if we are all unique, and if we just be ourselves, we generate really good content, I think, because if it's a personal brand, people want to buy into you or who you are. And yeah, so I just decided that I'll just be myself. I'll just talk about what I value. Then it shifted a little bit so at first I started posting about like my story, who I am, what I value, what helped me, what didn't help me, what are my tips and tricks. But then after I started working with more clients and started having more experience and knowledge around my segment and their pain points, their problems, their obstacles they're having, then I started talking more about my clients and what they're facing and how they help them solve those problems, or how they solve their problems with the help of my services. So it's kind of like it shifted a little bit from my story to the challenges that my clients are facing. And yeah, it's just building authority is like telling your audience that I know the problems you're dealing with, I understand you, and this is how I help you solve them. So yeah, but other than Facebook and other than like with digital marketing, I think, other than the available platforms, I didn't take any course or anything, but after I moved to London, I enrolled into a mastermind group with other wellness experts in the UK. And I think those groups are really, really helpful for entrepreneurs to just have a coach or a mentor and be in a group. So for example, in that group, I have an accountability buddy, another wellness expert that we check regularly once a week. And we talk about our monthly goals, our weekly goals. We keep each other accountable because it becomes so difficult when you're an entrepreneur to just self-discipline is so important, but it's sometimes so difficult just to get lost into day-to-day tasks and like forget about the things that you want to accomplish, the big picture you're going. So having an accountability buddy, being a member to those kind of mastermind groups where you can connect with other people, listen to what worked for them, what didn't work for them, learn from them and their experiences is so valuable. And I think that's also what helped me along the way as well.
Great, yeah, accountability, that's a very good mentor to have. Definitely, especially when, like you said, you could really get lost in the day-to-day tasks and just forget your main vision, what you were working for. Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for these tips. Unfortunately, our time has come to an end, but this has been really useful. Definitely, whoever has an idea, just start. Thank you so much for all the tips. It's been extremely useful. And it's an honor having you here with us today for our fourth webinar with All in Tech. Thank you everyone for joining. It's been a pleasure.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.